Hello, hello. This is day 11 video today. And I'm doing a walk and talk. It's a fucking nice night at the field with the dogs. And what do we want to talk about today? What do we want to talk about today? I think I've been reading that book, The 6 Pillars of Self Esteem by Nathaniel Branden, and it is just such a valuable book, I think. Especially for me, because I feel like I've had periods in my life where I've felt high self-esteem, and then periods in my life where we're throwing the ball for the dogs right now, and then periods where I haven't. And I think I'm currently in one of those valleys of low self-esteem, and I think it's for a number of reasons. I think one of them being is that I'm a little bit stuck in my direction in life, and that's having an effect on my feelings of like confidence and knowing where I want to go with my life, and decisiveness and action taking, which I think if you feel stuck and unsure, that's not very conducive to feeling high levels of self-esteem. But one thing I realized, I think, is, as I've talked about before, I went through a time of... Callie, come here. Of really going hard in spirituality and spiritual beliefs, and treating the ego as the enemy. Okay, I'm trying to make my ego an enemy and try to... Well, what I was doing was repressing it, and I feel like that caused me to repress all of the natural assertiveness and desire and ambition that I had, because I thought I needed to detach from those things in order to follow the spiritual path and transcend those things, those human things. And obviously I know now that that is not the way to go about that. We cannot transcend those things, and we have to honor them and work with them, and they're actually what makes our lives rich and meaningful. And so I think I'm still recovering from that period of trying to do that and basically spiritually bypassing a lot of things in my life. I kind of one of the chapters in the book, Self-Esteem, 6 Pillars of Self Esteem, is about assertiveness, and made me realize that over there, I have been lacking a lot of assertiveness in my life, as well as self-responsibility. I'm being way too passive, waiting for things to come to me instead of taking action, asserting my self-beliefs and my values through my action and my expression in the world. And that is something I am going to consciously try to bring back more of into my life. Because it has felt as though I'm not trusting myself. Because I have been throwing all of those feelings and emotions to the side and not listening to them, and therefore not trusting myself, not listening to my emotions and acting on them. And I think not listening to those things has really had a negative effect. So it's been a big learning process, and reading this book is helping to remind me the ways in which I was living before that allowed me to feel these feelings of self-esteem, and that I experienced and lived by those principles before a lot of the principles that are talked about in the book. So I can see firsthand how those worked for me and how I've abandoned some of those. So there's a lot of traps, I feel like, if you get into spirituality, and I think there's different ways you can lose touch with reality, and lose touch with your humanness. I had to gather this one because she's a runner. And anyways, so I'm still learning, and I've had some good lessons on my pursuit for greater levels of consciousness, greater understanding of spirituality and philosophy and consciousness. There's a lot of things that I've learned on that journey of understanding, and hopefully a lot more things to learn. I think that's a lifelong journey that I will always strive to grow in, because that's your whole life is determined by the way your mind works, your level of consciousness. And so to me, that's the most important thing that you can pay attention to and try to level up. So we're gonna go home now. Beautiful night, and yeah, day 11, I think. Yeah. All right, peace.